all of your favorite recipes.
Simply Food.
You should know by now that you're in for a treat.
Simply Food.
There's no other channel where you'd rather be.
Simply Food.
Seafood, pasta, cakes, and pies. Sing and laugh and even cry. Like and share and hit subscribe. Simply Food by TY.
All right, I'm back. All right, now look, today I wanted to make myself a meal that did not require me to have to be in my kitchen for a long amount of time. So let's go right on ahead and get right into it.
All right, so let's go over the ingredients. So I have some smoked turkey wings. You can use whatever type of smoked meat you would like. That's completely up to you. Today I'm going to be using turkey. For some of my spices, I have parsley, herbes de Provence, smoked paprika, 1 large sweet onion. I have 1 can of cream of chicken with herbs, and then I have a can of cream of mushroom with roasted garlic, 1 packet of sesame, 1 large green bell pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, some Lowry seasonal salt. I have about 4.5 pounds of some chicken legs that I've already removed the skin from. And then over there, I have about 2 pounds of some fresh kale that I currently have soaking in cold water. You see that? You see that? You see that? Don't ask me for no ingredient list. Now come on. All right, y'all, so the first thing I want to do is go on ahead and season up my chicken legs. This recipe is incredibly easy to make because everything is essentially kind of going in one pot. And like I said, these chicken legs have already been cleaned and I've removed the skin. When I'm making smothered chicken, especially something in a crock pot, I just remove the skin because it's not going to get crispy and I don't want that slimy, skin texture. So I just remove it. So we're going to add in 1 full packet of sesame. We're going to add in 1 tablespoon of Lowry seasonal salt. A 1/2 tablespoon of garlic powder, 1/2 tablespoon of onion powder, a 1/2 tablespoon of the herbes de Provence, 1/2 tablespoon of parsley. We keeping it easy, y'all. And you only need 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, not regular paprika, smoked paprika, 1 teaspoon. We're gonna add in the full 10.5 ounce container of the cream of mushroom with roasted garlic. And we're also going to add in the full 10.5 ounce container of the cream of chicken with herbs. Hold on to one of the cans because this is how much liquid we're going to be putting in, and I'll talk about that momentarily. We're also going to add in our 1 large onion. There's no right or wrong way to this. I just slice it down. This meal is extremely quick to put together because honestly, like I said, everything is literally just all going in the pot. And then you're going to put this in the crock pot and go on about your business. Do this before church service or, if you got to go out run some errands. That way you don't have to put it in the oven. Of course, you can do this in the oven. You would just bake it at 350 for, about 2 hours or so. But I don't want to have to worry about my oven being on. So I'm just putting all of this in the crock pot. Same thing applies for the green bell pepper. Slice it on down. You can add in multicolored peppers, whatever you want. I'm also going to add in 1 teaspoon of some roughly cracked black peppercorn. And I'm also going to add in a splash of some olive oil. Now that I have everything in the bowl, I'm going to give all of this a good mix and make sure that everything is thoroughly massaged. And by not having the skin on this is going to make this chicken extremely seasoned through and through because there's no barrier in between the, the meat and the seasoning. And that right there is what you're looking for, everything to be thoroughly mixed. Now, if you wanted to, you could allow this to marinate overnight, which is also fantastic, but I'm going to be cooking this low and slow, so I'm not really going to concern myself with that. Now, I'm just going to add everything directly to the crock pot. Boy, you want to talk about some good eating? And remember how I said to keep one of these, fill this up with some warm water, and then you're going to dump that warm water into this bowl here, so that way we can get all of that goodness out of this bowl so that we don't lose or leave anything behind. Alrighty, I put a lid on this bowl so that I could get all of that goodness out, and this is all of the water that you want to add because the chicken is going to release a lot of liquid on its own. I'm now going to put the lid on this, put the temperature on low, and I will let you guys know how long this takes. This part of the recipe is good to go. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is to start the stock for making my kale. So I'm adding in all of my smoked meat. Now for about 2 pounds of kale, I'm really only going to need about 6 cups of water because I don't need no whole bunch of liquid in this. And that's 6. I'm going to be adding in 1 tablespoon of the roasted chicken base, better than bouillon. Just add that directly to the pot. I'm going to be adding in 1 packet of the Goya salad and vegetable seasoning. I would say about a half a tablespoon of garlic powder, equal parts onion powder, so about a half a tablespoon. I'm adding in 1 teaspoon of Laurie's seasonal salt, 1 teaspoon of coarse ground black peppercorn, 1 teaspoon of accent. I'm going to put this on the stove and bring this up to a nice simmer. I wouldn't say a boil, but a nice simmer for about an hour or two. It really just depends on how long it's going to take for the meat to start falling off the bone. Now, in regards to my kale, I have this soaking right now in cold water, and I'm going to be washing this off with a solution of white distilled vinegar and some coarse kosher salt. I'm going to do that about 2 to 3 times until I see that the water is running nice and clear. If you guys want to actually see how I do that process, I have a video already available when I make my collard greens. I also have a QR code available in my cookbook where I also show you how to make my collard greens, and that process is also there. So I'm going to go clean these up, and then I'm going to place these in the refrigerator while I'm waiting for my stock to, do its thing and wait for that meat and stuff to kind of fall off the bones. I'm going to clean these now while that's going.
Alrighty, y'all. So the meat on my smoked turkey wings are nice and tender at this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove these out of the pot and then shred all of the meat on these. I'm going to keep the bones, but I'm going to separate the meat from the bones, and I'll show you why in just a few moments.
Alrighty, y'all. So now I'm bringing the liquid up to a full, I would say about a full boil, and I'm going to gradually start to add in the kale little by little. And as it wilts down, I will continue to add it into the pot until all of the kale is in the pot. And to kind of help the wilting process kind of speed up a bit, I'm going to put the top on it, and then I'll be able to kind of trap the steam, which will kind of cause it to kind of wilt down more. I don't really feel it necessary to use a large pot because you're going to see when this is fully cooked, it's really going to reduce down. So if you just do it this way, you'll be able to stick with a standard size pot. All right, I'm about to add in my last little bit of kale now. And now I'm going to place the lid on this and wait till this kind of reduces by half. Then I will add in the shredded meat. I'm going to add the bones back to it, put the top back on it, let it cook for about another 10-15 minutes or so, and then we will do a taste test for any additional spices. All right, y'all, so it's been about 5 minutes, so let's check and see how we're doing. This is perfect. This is already reduced by about half. And as you can see, like I told you guys, I've only put in 6 cups of liquid. And by the time this fully cooks down, it's going to be the perfect amount. We're not trying to make kale soup here, so you don't want there to be too much liquid within the pot. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in all of that shredded meat back to the pot. Give it a mix. And this seems to be about the perfect meat to kale ratio. You don't want it to be too meaty, but you definitely want to know that there is meat in the pot. The bones, I told you to make sure that you don't discard those. This is going to add a lot of flavor to this pot. So you're going to simply just lay those on the top. I'm now going to put the top back on this and set a timer for 30 minutes. And I'm going to make sure the temperature is on low. The key to making good kale and collard greens and mustard greens and all those type of things, you have to cook them low and slow so that they can still have a bit of firmness to it, but not be completely mushy. If you cook them too fast, they'll turn into mush, and you don't really want that to happen. You still want there to be a little bit of bite to it. So just do that over a low temperature. All right, y'all, this has been going for, I would say, about 30 minutes or so. And as you can see, the perfect amount of liquid. You got to sometimes just trust the process. I know it might not have looked like a lot, but this is the perfect amount for about 2 pounds worth. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give this broth a taste and see what we're looking at. And then I will let you guys know what other additional spices I'm going to be adding to this. Okay, so this is pretty kind of spot on. So I just have a few more things I want to add to it, and I'll let you know what that is right now. I always like to add in a little bit of crushed red pepper flakes to my kale and my collard greens. It's just a personal preference. You can leave it out if you would like, but I'm using roughly about that much. So I would say that's about a teaspoon worth. I also always love to add apple cider vinegar. I do not use white vinegar in my collard greens when I'm actually cooking. I only use the white when I'm cleaning, but this adds flavor. So I'm going to add in 1, 2, 3 teaspoons. A nice pinch of coarse kosher salt. Give this one final mix. I'm now going to place the top back on this and turn the temperature all the way down to low and allow this to cook to the tenderness of my liking. Now, everybody likes theirs completely different. Some people like theirs completely mushy. Some people like theirs more on the firm side. I like to find, a happy medium. I like slight bite, but, not raw and also not mushy. So now that I got this mixed, press everything down, place the lid on this, reduce the temperature down to low so that it's no longer boiling, and let it go from there. All right, y'all, here we go. And that there, my friends, is how I make my kale. The perfect amount of liquid, perfect amount of meat. It's not like too soupy. This is the texture that I prefer it at. Still has a little bit of bite, but it's still nice and soft. So now I can go on ahead and turn the heat off on this, put the lid back on it, and let this cool down for about 10-15 minutes. And then I'm gonna be ready to serve this up. Alrighty, you guys, so I just wanted to show you all, this is what our chicken is looking like so far. It's been cooking on low for about 3 hours, and now I've just recently turned it up to high, and now I'm going to allow it to go for about another hour or so. The chicken is already falling off the bones, but you can see that this is completely full of flavor. And then in about the last 10 minutes, right before I'm about to serve it, I'm gonna put in a little cornstarch slurry, and that's gonna thicken this up. But you can see how much liquid has been released from that chicken. That's the reason why you don't need to put too much in there to start with. But this pot is flavored down. My rice machine just went off. I'm gonna be serving it with some rice as well. So I already got that taken care of. All right, y'all. This chicken is done. This chicken is falling off the bone. And like I said, if you want to thicken yours up, you can put in a cornstarch slurry. I actually decided that I'm not going to do that today. I actually kind of just want to leave it as it is. I don't know why. I'm just feeling it. I think because I have some rice, so I kind of want to keep mine nice and thin. But if you want yours thick like gravy, literally just add in 1 tablespoon of cornstarch with 1 tablespoon of water, and it'll thicken it right up. But this chicken is done. I think it's high time we plate this up, honey. And that there, my loves, is how I made smothered chicken in the crock pot, some kale, white rice, a dinner that didn't really have to require me to spend that much time in the kitchen, to be quite frank. Super easy, super simple, great for a cold day. Hope y'all like it. Let's go in for a taste test. Honey, I am ready to eat. Y'all see that kale, the chicken, the rice. Let's go in. Let's go in for the kale first. Now, typically when I eat my kale, I don't know if this is a country thing. I don't know if this is a local county thing, but I like to eat mine with mustard and hot sauce. So when I do that, I put it in a separate bowl because I don't want that to mix in with anything else, but we're gonna just try normally to that right now. I knew that was gonna be bomb. Let's go in for this chicken that is just literally falling apart. All right, here we go. Bomb. In the words of one of my fellow content creators, you better get you one of these. Mm. Goodbye.
Slaying in the kitchen.
Simply Food by TY.
We hope that you enjoyed it.
Simply Food by TY. If you haven't took the time, make sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching Simply Food.